Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk, real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. I'm thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking,
Real Talk, Morris Talk. In 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Islam. First, I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to all thoughts of Allah. I give honor to all the past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, Brother J. Blakely Bey. I give honor to our past Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Love Ill. I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Jones Bey, and to his assistant, Brother A. Hawkins Bey. I give honor to all sheikhs, sheikhs, and members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to all members, to all viewers, to all the media team, to my sisters on the panel. Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris Talk. This is a bonus episode of Godly Self versus Worldly Self, because last show was our season finale, So we thought we'd give y'all a bonus show. As I said, tonight's topic is Godly Self versus Worldly Self. I am Sister Ingrid Ill from Temple 71, Washington, D.C. Peace.
Islam. First I rise giving praises to our Father God Allah, honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to whom all the sister gave honors to. I give honors where honors are due. I give honors to each and every one of you. I give honors to my sisters here on the panel. My name is Sister T. Britt Bey from Washington, D.C., Temple number 71. Peace.
Islam, I give praise to our great God Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to everything that my sisters said before me. I give honor to you all, the viewers, for being here with us. As the sister said, this is a bonus show because the amount of honest love and sincere, I just look, 1,000 people shared that episode. So I want to give honor to all those that saw the value in our conversation. And so we knew after the conversation, we were not done. So I want to give honor to my sisters for having that thought that, you know what, let's continue this conversation. And I give an honor to Sister Hopkins Bay, who's not with us today, but we sending our love to you.
Yes.
We send our love. We wish you all well. And we got your questions, so we'll take care of you. My name is Sister A. Ravenel Bay from Temple number 21, Brooklyn, New York.
Islam. So again, our topic is godly work versus worldly work. And basically, it's just this conversation was basically just centered around brothers and sisters both, knowing their worth and the difference between the two, knowing for our sisters that we're worth more than our bodies, our looks, our age. And for our brothers, you're worth more than the nice car that you drive or that bag of money that you hold. So we're going to get into a dialogue of talking about inner worth versus that outside worth, which is what we all are pretty much used to when it comes to the world. So we're going to open up with a question. So you know what? I'll start. I just want to start first with just some definitions, some meanings, just to kind of give everybody some insight on value. Value. I looked it up and it says to value someone or something is to hold that person, thing, or animal as important and worthy of appreciation, time, effort, and protection. Worth, it said someone's worth is their value, usefulness, or importance in kindness, integrity, and how we treat others. Worthy is deserving. I say this again, deserving respect, admiration, and support. So I wanted to just get that out there. And I think of all these things we get from Allah. And that's where we learn it first, to find it within ourselves. So, okay, so we can open up now. Anybody got a question?
You have a question?
Well, let's see. What are the values that you carry from your ancestors, and how do they apply to you today?
That's a question, sister. I'm thinking here.
Well, Islam, I think some of the values that I carry from my ancestors is one, looking for the good in others, helping people, showing up, um, and being myself, learning how to love people more, showing more compassion. Um, I used to do a lot of pointing fingers and being just judgmental with people. I used to do that a lot. And I don't do that. I try not to. Let me say that. I try not to, even when I hear conversations like that around me. I try to blur those conversations out. I've even learned how to pick up on, like when I hear people talking like kind of low. I used to be nosy. I'm still probably kind of nosy though. But if I hear people talking like low, I be trying to ear hustle a little bit and hear what they saying. But I'm learning today that if it's that low, it ain't for you. And 9 times out of 10, it's nothing you want in your spirit anyway. So, but those are some of the things that I've learned from my ancestors, and how I apply them is I try to look outside people's faults or failings or things that might rub against me another way. I just try to see something else that's good within them. We're taught to look for Allah in man. So I just try to look for his attributes, for there's many, but I try to look for some of the ones that I am familiar with in people. So, and that's just, I apply them by practicing. I might mess up today and get in a conversation of talking about somebody, but I try to make that speedy reparation. Like, hey, you out of pocket there, to even entertain this conversation. So that's pretty much it for me. Peace.
Thank you, sis, for sharing. When I had to think about it, because I would say there's so many lessons that our ancestors give us. I had to think about
Mhm.
one that really stood out. um, particularly as we're talking about this conversation. And I think the thing that stands out the most for me is you ain't got to tell everybody everything. You know, some
Mm-hmm.
things you can keep for yourself in Allah, and I remember that, sometimes I may be quiet or thinking about something. And sometimes I have to decide, is it worthy to share? Do I need to share that?
Mm-hmm.
And I find that value even more important today because so much of the world tells everything about themselves. Every time you turn around, people are sharing lots of things. And I think about the prophet's lessons of speaking with discretion. And that's that value that I think my answer is like, you don't have to, you can choose what you share, what you don't share. And some things it's okay to keep it just between you and Allah, you know, that's okay. That
Yeah.
to me is that special relationship that you have with Allah, sometimes he knows the trials and tribulations to get what you need to do. I mean, I was struggle this morning trying to get it together to get this here. I was like, okay, here we go. But I could complain or you could tell other people whatever. But sometimes it's okay just to say, okay, let me just get my little inner strength here. So that's something I think that has been a value or a message from my ancestors that I still try to apply today is just thinking before I sometimes um go out, because sometimes when you go out, unless you are really being careful about who you share with, you don't know what their response will be. And I've
Mm-hmm.
had that. Sometimes I'll go and I'll complain to a friend about something and I probably wasn't thinking, and then they say something and I'm like, wait a minute, like, did you even hear what I said? you know um do you really have my back? Or it was like it throws me off.
Yeah.
And when I go back to it, I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't even know if I needed to even share that. Maybe I just need to sit down for a minute and take a breather.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't answer that question. That's an Allah question. And what did you expect? So sometimes I think that it reminds me, yeah, everything ain't for everybody.
I'm glad you said that, sis, because I'm one that I share a lot. Just I've heard some people say I share too much, but what might be too much for you might not be too much for me. But I have found myself in some cases, and just this week, where I needed somebody to talk to, or I wanted somebody to talk to about a particular thing. And when I sat and thought about people I had to talk to, I chose not to talk about what it was. And sometimes I think that maybe I need to not talk to anybody and just talk to Allah about it. I'm learning that because I've always felt like I had to tell especially when I was going through something, I had to talk to somebody about it. But it's not always meant to have to. Sometimes Allah just wants me to sit still and think about that and let it resonate and see myself in there or just hear from him sometimes. And I'm
Mhm,
learning that now that you're right, sis. I don't have to talk about
mhm.
or share everything. I don't.
I'll just say too, sometimes I feel like after, because I will know that there's value in talking to people. I
Mm-hmm.
will ask, when I sit, I'll ask Allah to put the right person in front of me that I should talk about it to. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have
Yeah.
an issue and you go to a friend, I'm gonna pick on a girlfriend, and they always don't like this situation or this person or whatever the thing is. So every time they say it, it's not gonna be the answer. You know what you're gonna get. And sometimes I think when I allow Allah, maybe he'll be, then all of a sudden the next person that pops in my mind, or he gives me that thought to reach out to somebody. I mean, I've known that to happen with me, with you all. Sometimes I'm thinking about something or something's deep in me. And then, I picked up the phone and both of you separately. I can just think about personal situations where I just happen to call, or that we were on the call, and Sagria was on the call first, and now I started talking to her about the topic. And then she just dropped some wisdom for me. I was like, okay, thank you, Allah. Sometimes we got to leave space for Allah to to communicate to us how he chooses to communicate. And sometimes it will come through somebody, but he will put a person there that I didn't even intend to share that
Mm,
with. And then, or they'll say
mm,
something that's similar, and you're like, are you talking about? Wait, so
mhm.
that's just my
Sometimes we need a sounding board. Sometimes we
Mm,
think we need a sounding board. We need an
yeah,
actual person to hear us so we can get it off. Sometimes we need someone to sanction our nonsense. And sometimes we need someone to tell us that what we saying to them, we shouldn't be doing. So there's
Mm,
reasons I believe that we go to a person opposed to Allah, because there's nobody on this screen right now that doesn't know that they can go right up to Allah and put their hands in His
That's
hands and all
right.
He be with.
That's right.
But we do those things for a reason, and there's so many reasons. One of the things that um,
Mhm.
I carry with me that the ancestors gave me is togetherness, unity.
Mm. Mm.
mm,
Um, I love unity. I love togetherness, and I grew up that way. I come from a huge family, a huge family. Um, my grandparents had 10 children. My father's parents had 10 children, and all of them had a big families. My father and one of my uncles only have one and two children, but the rest of the siblings have lots of children. So we were always together. During a hurricane, whatever family lived in that city, they would all venture to one house and wait it out together. And it was just like that throughout life. So I always been a person who liked unity and togetherness. And what a more wonderful organization uh, to be a part of, the More Sons of America, the Uplift Fallen
Praise God.
Humanity. That's about being togetherness and oneness and unifying. So that's one of the things, just one of many other things that I
Exactly.
carry. Hmm.
well, another
I'm not sure
question,
what questions okay.
No, go
no,
ahead, sis.
yeah.
What were you saying? Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna share
No,
the
I
other
was just,
question that. Oh, go ahead. Which one? Go ahead, Sister
no,
Griot.
no, no. You
Yeah.
go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, I was just looking at the question because it's Hopkins Bay had a question, and I think that first one came from her, and her other one was a good one too, which was how has your outlook on life changed since joining the temple and knowing that Allah is within you?
It's perception is all I can really think of when I think about that question. My perception on things, they are better. That's how they have changed. My perception on life and people in general, and the way people move and the way that I move, um, set a higher vibration.
Yes.
Everything is not gloom and doom or woe is me, or the first thought is a negative thought. No, the first thought is a positive and a question thought, trying to figure out the solution to something. My perception is just different. I don't go into a dark place first, opposed to how I used to.
Yeah.
So just a smidget.
Hmm.
That's just a smidget.
I would
Just a
say,
smidget.
I would say my awareness is better than it was. Um, Taking in consideration company I keep, places I go, um, my actions, how I carry and conduct myself. There's always been a part of me, but I think even more so now, because now that I know that, or I'm realizing that Allah is within me. It's important how I talk, how I act, places I go, because guess what? He's with me. He's right there. So I take in consideration a lot of those things now, and how I treat people. that has changed my outlook on life. And when it comes to me personally, it definitely has changed my outlook. And I am learning to love Tracy. As
Islam.
she is unfolding, as to show the flower, I'm learning to love her. And that's a great feeling. I'm so glad that these lessons has brought me around to this place, because this has been a long journey for me. So that's one of the main things where my life has changed, knowing that Allah is within me, just acknowledging things more so now, taking in consideration things that I do as opposed to being impulsive. Thinking about what you're about to say. Think about it. Think about that question somebody just asked me. Think about it, Tracy. Don't be quick to respond. Kind of pause. Learn to pause. And I used to see you all do that a lot, and I never understood. I'd be ready to jump in. But sometimes you got to just let some things marinate for real. To really and truly hear what you thought you heard. Be clear. What you think you see. Be clear. So that's pretty much it. Awareness.
I wanted to give
Yeah,
a little example on, perception that I've come to appreciate. You know, so Sister Grail has physical issues, right? And as of lately, I've been having issues with my ankle, feet, and knees, right? Now, I could probably say if it ain't one thing, it's another with this body, which is absolutely the truth. But the perception is I can still get up with this body and go do something about it. It's not, what am I going to do now? It's always something I can't take it no more. When, nah, okay, it's happening. Get up and go do something about it. Real simple. I just wanted to share that little piece.
Thank you, sis, for that. How has your outlook on life changed since joining the temple? I've been in the temple, and I would say that my outlook has changed while still in the temple, knowing because as man unfolds, as God unfolds. So the perception, how we think Allah is today will be different in 5, 10, 15 years. And to me, then you realize that the Allah within you is different 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and for me, my outlook has changed because I think I'm learning Allah still, that to be merciful. Sometimes you got to go through a situation and you realize, Allah is merciful. He is, I mean, the stuff we do, you know, and to still be able to get up the next day and be able to
Yeah.
do all the things you're doing. Allah is so merciful. He is so much more merciful than I could ever dream of being.
Yeah.
Because when you get children, you I can lose my temper sometimes. It's a slow burn, very slow burn. But then I'm quick, and I have to think, if Allah was like that with me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All the stuff we done, the stuff we thought we were doing, and He didn't see. And so, and I dare not think that He's winking at my doing. It's just that Allah is merciful. He gives you an
Yeah.
opportunity to reflect and make decisions. And so I feel like there's almost like seasons has been for me. My outlook has been seasons of like, wow, Allah is really merciful.
Yes.
And then I
Yeah.
know, oh, there's Allah within me. How am I merciful? Because I have the capacity to do that. When people have wronged you, talked bad about you, said
Yes.
some evil and mean to you,
Yes.
and sometimes some of that stuff still plays in your head. Sometimes you don't even realize that someone may have said something to you that you actually even believed it, and it wasn't even true, you know? And you have to unwind that. And then when you unwind and say, oh, what you said was rude to me, you know? Um, and that is not true. Now I got to be
Mhm.
forgiving of that,
Mhm.
or be merciful around that. Just is so much. So, I mean, I would say that, my outlook has changed over time, and it continues because the closer I build my relationship with Allah, I learn so much more about myself. I learn so much more about Allah. And then I have to recognize that I'm still growing. That
Mhm.
song, Every Round Goes Higher and Higher. I love that song because we are constantly moving. There's a
Mhm.
movement. you know you can't just walk in a day and be like, I got it all. If that's the case, you're in the wrong place. Like, this is about growth and development, so we're continually growing and development. And so
Mhm.
I think it's just being humble, that I know that I'm going to be continuing to grow, and Allah's going to continue to put them tests
Yes.
so that I can continue
Yes.
to grow you know
Yeah. It's a good place to be, where I'm realizing that I don't have to do the most or be extra anymore.
hmm
Anymore. You know, doing things that make sense to Tracy.
That's right.
It makes sense to me.
hmm
You might be stuck over there trying to figure it out, but to me, it makes sense, and this is how I'm going to move. You know, life is just so good, and the more I spend it in this movement, in a lot, it's really good. I've cried a lot this week because I have so much to be thankful for. You talk about that mercy, Sister Reverend Bay. I think about that every morning when I wake up and I inhale and exhale. Like, wow. Like, you ain't have to do this, but you found purpose in me. I pray that I do the best by that purpose.
hmm
I pray that every morning that I do my best, because oh my God, that's a lot within itself, to know that he woke me up because he got a purpose in mind. Specifically, that's the part that touches my heart, because it's specifically for you, Tracy. I got something I want you to do. I got something I want you to see. I got something I want you to learn. I got something I want you to know. You know what I'm saying? I got something I want you to fix. All of that. And I don't wake up anymore with, ooh, girl, where I'm going today? Let me call so-and-so, what we doing? Outlook is just totally different. I wake up setting the tone for my day. So I set aside that time. My outlook is totally different. I mean, I never thought that I would be talking like this. I never thought that I would be, moving the way that I move, but I am. And let me tell you, I don't have no regrets. I was going to say I ain't, but I don't have no regrets
hmm
as to how I'm moving today. It's just so peaceful on this side, on this course. It's just nice. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong. It comes with its challenges. It comes with its bumps, but it's those bumps that's growing me, that's making me, that's maturing me, developing me. I don't be liking the bumps in the moment, but when I come through on the other side, okay.
hmm
I probably couldn't see your process a lot at the moment, but when I get through and I be like, man, I like that. He is. He is just so awesome. Like, I always give him his praise, because I be looking at how, just with the world going through, like, just everything what I might go through, and I be like, you got so much to attend to at one time. That's cranking. Cause you supply us with what we need. That's hidden.
Hmm.
When you got all these children that's just so hard headed, some nasty, just ungrateful, rude, and then you got the ones over here that they trying their best,
Hmm.
and you trying to show us how you're trying to, redeem them through us, those of us that are in tune. So he's just, yes, I love him. I love you all. I do. I love him. So yeah, my outlook is changing. I thank him for that. I thank this movement for it. I thank the prophet for it, because these teachings, they strong.
Hmm.
I
That's
love them.
when you were talking, he said he woke you up to see. He also woke us up to teach. That's what you're doing. To be able
Praise the
to,
Lord.
the teacher that's been through it is the teacher that we all listen to. You know what I
Mm.
mean? When people have gone through an
Mhm.
experience, they
Mm-hmm.
you can feel it feels different when they teach, because they know the moments, the feelings. So you're teaching, you're
Yeah.
inspiring, you're setting an example of what gratitude looks like. And I think that's why Allah has you there too.
Right. Praise the
You
Lord.
know, the Allah within us, our job is to express him here, express
Yeah.
him, and if we don't do it consciously, who's going to do it?
Yes.
The world needs to see that. Everybody wants hope.
Yeah.
Everybody wants hope. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants love. You can't. It's rare that you find people that ain't talking about what they want. They're looking for it. They upset at the world because it's not like that.
Yeah.
But the reality is that if we understand our godly worth, if we understand the Allah
Praise.
within, then
Yes.
we understand that we can have those things. And in our path to trying to get that, we're
Mm-hmm.
helping others along the way.
Praise the Lord.
Come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have to say this show is beautiful, and
Yes.
I'm reflecting back to when we first got together, and we all got different paths and pathways, and I was like, how this gonna work? And our paths are all different,
Mm-hmm.
but what we both share is these teachings and how it has impacted us on our path,
Yes.
so we can show that whatever your path is, whoever's listening, maybe they see somebody else's path that look a little like theirs, and they can say, oh, she got through that,
Mm.
and hopefully it will be helpful. That's what my prayer is, that
Yeah.
it is helpful, because I know what it's like when I know what it's like when I hear your stories and I
Mm.
hear you all going through things. It helps me. And so I can't be selfish and think about me. I'm praying that these experiences help others too,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know.
Wanting for others what
Mm.
we want for ourselves is heavy.
And
Mhm.
sis, you said something too. You said, no, there's no better teacher than a person has been through it. And that's real, because don't nobody want to hear you explain something that you don't have experience in.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear, and I'm just going to just say this. I don't want to hear a drug counselor counseling me on drug addiction, and they don't have no personal experience with drug addiction. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
So yeah,
It's the
that's
same
a
thing.
big thing.
Yes.
My mom talk about it. My mom used to say, when I was dating and I was getting close to marrying my husband, and I was questioning things, I'll never forget it. And she looked at me and I was like, Mom, and this person said this. And she said, are any of them married?
See?
Wait a minute. Are any of them in happy relationships? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, she kind of had me thinking. And she was like, you going to the wrong people.
Exactly.
Who you need
Mm-hmm.
to be talking to is people that have done that. And I
That's
was
right.
like, and I went to some of the sisters in the temple. I remember that. I was like, it was like a click. And then I went to some of the sisters who I seen have done it, who've been through it. And I said, let me go talk to this sister over here, because she looked like, if I remember, she married, and particularly I didn't marry someone who was in the temple. So there was a question about that for me personally. How does this work? How do you do this? and she gave me some wonderful advice. And I'm gonna give
Mm-hmm.
Sister Gay Arthur, her prayer, her honors. She gave me some wonderful advice. Temple number 28, Grand Sheikahs. And I don't even know if she remembers the conversation, but she was so loving and talking to me about her experience. And so, but you're right. If I'd have listened to them, I would not be where I'm at.
See.
You need that experience. So,
Mm-hmm.
so we can't get mad at Allah for giving us experiences.
Yeah.
That's right, sister.
You know,
That's
the
right.
prophet talk about
That
those
is
pointers. You know, the prophet talk about those pointers that points the way, but doesn't go themselves. A block of wood could do the same.
you see how sharing just where we are in life helps us sometimes in this right when we're in the show, because now Sister Reverend Arthur Bay, I was like, I can now call you and talk to you about those possibilities for myself as far
Mm-hmm.
as
Mhm.
how do we how do we how is it to be in a relationship in the movement with someone who is not in the movement,
Praise the
Girl,
Lord.
right?
that's a show, right? Girl,
Praise
that's a
the
different
Lord.
show.
How do you yeah, how do you move forward into marriage with someone who is not worshiping under the same vine and fig tree as you? So
Mhm.
that is a good topic, Sister
That is.
Mhm.
But the one thing's for certain, we have many examples in front of us that we can see that it does work.
Mhm.
Praise Allah.
There's something greater. You know what I'm saying? That marriage is built on something greater. You know, that
I'll just say
foundation
this.
is strong. Go ahead,
I
sis.
just no, I'll just say this. It kind of is it's the topic is interesting. You know, I think about Jesus and how he spoke his words, and those that followed with him went with him, and those that didn't. And the same thing with our Father God Allah, and even in this movement, not everybody is going to be faithfully attending every meeting, but it doesn't mean that they don't hear something about these words for them.
Yes.
There's different variations, but I believe that our job or my job is still to figure out you got to still hold love for people regardless of where they're at. That's their path for where they're at.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So, you ask that, it's like you have to also, for me, respect where people are. I need you to come to Allah on your due time. I can't force you.
That's right.
I can't force anybody. Nobody can be forced. I think about that, if you chose to, that's why I give honor to you that when you choose, you make that mental decision. Because when you grow up, you don't get that choice. You have to, in some ways, reinitiate that choice for yourself.
Yes.
You have to choose and understand what your godly worth is in your relationship with Allah. That's an individual path for everybody. So I think also just you have to remember that you can't force that on nobody, but you got to respect me. You got to know where I'm at on Friday and Sunday
That's right,
and
sis.
why I'm flying to Chicago. And my requirement, you got to know it, support it, and love me for let me be able to do what I need to do to have my relationship with Allah.
Praise the Lord.
Whether you in the temple or out the temple, that's
That's
that
right.
that it.
That's
You know,
Thanks, sis. I like that.
mm-mm.
right.
And trust me, I
I
dated somebody who was
appreciate
like,
that.
he was like, I was like, deuces, nope, I'm out. You got to know who
Mhm.
you are.
Yes. There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. That's one thing they gotta understand for sure. Can't nothing come in between. Anything I was doing before you walked through the door, if it's of high vibration of the higher self, I'm
Mhm.
gonna still be doing it. You
Yes.
need
Hmm.
to know that.
And note that there's probably something about that you expressing that is attractive.
It was attractive for me, sister members. That was an attraction for me to see a brother, knowing where I knew the brother come from to make his meetings important to him. That was an attraction for me. That's how I
Hmm.
came strolling up in there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So one of the things that stood out was that. peace in that individual, because I know the individual. I know what they're capable of doing and what they're capable of being. But that piece of making it to his meeting every Friday, and then whatever is to take place afterwards. Yeah, that was a big attraction for me.
Mm-hmm.
Praise
Mhm.
Allah.
All right, well. Sister Reverend over here, Sister Bree Eel, how about your question?
Mhm. You know, I'm not sure if I asked these in the last show, so
You asked
let me.
one. You asked one.
Okay, so has the self-worth you giving yourself lately been kind and just, or been unkind? Or it doesn't have to be lately, it's at any time. Have the self-worth you giving yourself been unkind, or has it been kind?
Mm.
Anytime, ever? I know if sometimes we have given ourselves some unkind self-worth, or told ourselves something that was unkind about ourselves that we probably
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
believe.
Mhm. I'm gonna go with that because sis, I'm still working through that. I have a thing for trying to want to be perfect, and still lasts to birthday,
No, because I'm
but
right there with you.
it's like, and I am, it's like I know that something must be this way, and if I don't think it is that way, then I don't. It's almost like I can be very unkind to myself. And it really took me a bit to really embrace. I can't find the instruction, but it said essentially about the good that's within your reach.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Be
where I'm at?
content
Content with the good.
with the good that's within your reach.
That's right. And I have to really say that because sometimes I may want one thing, to create this vision in my head of what good or perfect looks like. But
Mm-hmm.
what's in my reach ain't there. you know I will find that way when I felt that way a lot when my mom was sick. I had this perfect idea of how I wanted to show up when she was sick. I felt like I wasn't there. I felt like I needed to call her more. I felt like there was all these things, and I was crying, upset, beating up myself, you know about what I expected that perfect relationship to be. And um it took me a minute to realize that actually, because she was in New York, I was in California, that actually what I could do for her best was actually see the situation from where I was sitting. Because when I was sitting, I could see things that others that were so close couldn't see. I'm like, wait a minute. We just had this conversation with, the medical profession. Wait, I heard this, but people that were close to it, it's like when you watch a child, you with the baby every day and you don't see the jumps of how much they've grown and developed. But when you're away and you visit, you're like, man, that baby got big cheeks or whatever, right? And I was seeing that within her. And it took me a bit to realize actually there was value where Allah placed me. He placed me there also because I could be the bad cop a little bit with whoever needed to be because I didn't have that personal relationship with you. I could say, wait a minute, no, I could be very factual. But it took me months to get over that. And so to your question, sis, I was unkind to myself. And I still
Mm-hmm.
see that pattern within myself. Sometimes I have a
Mm-hmm.
vision for what I want for my children or what I want for myself. And I get upset when I don't see it. And I have to realize maybe it's okay. What you painted in your head, it's okay to have a goal and a vision. But what Allah put in front of you, are you using that?
That's what you gotta
Even he
do.
talks about that. Don't he
Mhm.
talk about the man that's oh man, I'm really need to drink my coffee. But the man that's he's doing something and his bread being eaten by another, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's so focused on the future that
Somebody.
he forget what's in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it says something
So
like the man that neglects his present concern stand the chance of having his bread eaten by another. Did
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
hear me?
Exactly.
yeah.
So I have to always kind of, push and pull because I can be very unkind. You know better. You got these lessons. I can and all that lower self know what to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they start talking to me, then I start, distancing, get upset, retreat, all of that. And it ain't got nothing to do with moving forward.
Mm-hmm. I concur with a lot you said, sis.
Yeah,
And I spoke about that.
that was real, sis. I'm sorry.
You know?
Yeah. Mm,
So
I'm
yeah, I
sorry, Sister
agree
Brittany.
too. That's okay. I agree too with what you said. And remember when I spoke about it in part one, the unjust part for me would be the many times that I've put myself in places that weren't for
Mhm.
me and forcing the hand, for it to be me. But this is just not your place. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And those would be the unjust times. I would say self-worth has been kind. And this is a fairly new journey for me, but thus far it has been kind. I sometimes feel that it is unjust because of the fact that I'm unable to have or hold on to something or things that I may want that may not be meant for me at this present time. And I can sometimes get in my head and feel like, why? Why not me? Why not now?
Mhm.
But then I have to raise my thoughts, and trust in the process that Allah is the best, that He is the best of planners. Also, I have to do some reflection. Look back on your life. You've been here before. You've been to this place before where you felt like you deserve and now feeling undeserving because right now at this present time or in this season, what it is that you want is just not right now. Doesn't mean it will never be.
Mhm.
Allah knows my passions and desires, the ones that are in the bounds of righteousness. So now I just have to trust. So when I look back on my life and I see where I was at this place before, what happened? There are some things that are unfolding, and it's been years that I've been wanting and wanting and wanting things that are just unfolding in my life now. It's been a while. But throw the clock away. Don't trip off of how long it's going to take. Well worth the wait, though.
Mhm.
The appreciation and the gratitude that I have for it now is much more mature than it probably would have been then. Because I probably wouldn't even have known to do with it back then had He given it to me when I wanted it.
Mhm.
So it's learning. And that's just how I look at it right now is there's some more things that Allah wants to do with me on the inside before He releases. He knows what I want. But before I give it to you, I want to make sure, Tracy, that you know what to do with it.
Hmm.
And He believes in me and knows that I'll do the right thing. But there's some more grooming. I got to work
Mhm.
on you a little bit more. I'm going to need you to go through this some more. I'm going to need you to experience a little bit more of that. That's just the message that I'm getting for myself today.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have to, and it's painful too, doing the self-work. It's a little painful for me, but in a good way. It's painful only because something I ain't never do. And now that I'm doing it, you lose things in the process. When you start considering yourself, people drop off,
Mhm.
Yeah. Because they got so used to being that one, getting all the attention. So,
And I don't want to use the word I hate. It's unfortunate that people start to view an individual differently based on the individual only wanting to get better. The individual only wants to grow and get better. So sometimes their life starts taking a change. They're doing different things.
Yes.
They're going to different places. They're affiliating with different people who are just moving in the direction they want to move in. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
there's any love lost between the individuals and the other individuals. It just means that this is now what I'm doing to uplift my life
Yes.
so that I can possibly uplift somebody else. But I pose this question, right, because sometimes, most of us would say we don't talk unkindly to ourselves. Some people will say that. Oh no, I don't talk bad about to myself. That's crazy. Yeah, we do. I know I do. I've had to tell myself, girl, are you slow? You acting real slow today. You acting real slow today. But sometimes I say stuff to myself to wake up too in the same process. But yeah, I can speak unkind to myself, but I also know how to speak healthy to myself. The
That's
same way
right.
I tear myself down, the same way I better
Build
bring
yourself.
myself back up
That's
too.
right. That's right.
And I'm gonna stop right there.
Hmm. Well, we got time for one short question if we have a question. Let's see. Sister Pepe, you got a last question or closing comment?
I have closing comment. Closing remarks. Let me see.
Sister Reverend Bay,
Recognize.
did you ask your oh I'm sorry. I missed
Hmm?
something.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
Did y'all want another question or what we doing?
Sister Reverend Bay, did you do your third question? I think you might have.
I don't recall, sis. But you want to answer?
Do you, no, I want you to ask it.
Okay, let me ask it. Do you find it difficult today to value your worth? That one?
Did we do that?
We didn't.
Mm-mm.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Do you find it difficult, sisters, today to value your worth? Why or why not?
Real quick, no, I don't find it difficult because I belong to Allah.
Mm,
Praise the Lord. I do at times. If I get in my head, I do find it difficult. But like I said, I have to speak high thoughts. I have to focus on my showing some self-worth, some love to myself. Um, I have to think about where it's going to bring me. Being excited about that because I don't know where it's going to bring me to, but I trust in Allah. And like I said, when I reflect, He's never failed me on the other end. When He say He's going to bring me through it, He does exactly that. I might not like some of the avenues that He bring me through or allow me to go through, but He brings me through. So yeah, I do find it difficult, but I have to remind myself every day, once again, I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
mm-hmm.
And all that He has put in the creation of me, the time He spent, that holds me.
Mm,
That holds me right there. I have to remind myself of that. Praise Allah, peace.
Thank you, sis. I would say for me, sometimes it is difficult because I'm recalculating what my worth is, you know?
Yeah, I
And
agree.
sometimes because that worth is, you see it one way and you see your imperfections too. I see my imperfections. And so sometimes that goes in the calculation of my worth. And so I find it difficult to do it maybe consistently. But what I'm
There you
learning,
go.
yeah, what I'm learning is that process again. you know, that I gotta, it is so easy for me to see the value in others, but it can be difficult to see it because because I sometimes will focus on the things that I need to work on so much. And then, so when I have those moments where I feel like I see Allah and I can see the Allah in me, I'm thankful for that, because I can see that work. But it
Mhm.
comes, sometimes it's because I'm a worker through and through. That's just how I am. I'm a worker. I'm a worker on the physical, on the manifesting, but also on myself. So I can be my harshest
Hmm.
critic for sure. So sometimes it's
Mhm.
hard to see the growth and development that can be there. But I'm gonna give honors to those that are around me because sometimes people will stop me in the midst of it to say, but you just did that. Oh, I did? Okay, well, I'm focused on the next step. No, but you just did that. And so I'm thankful for those that can kind of stop and pause because that's that reflection. If you don't reflect on what you
Mhm.
did, it's hard for me to even see that too. It's
Yes.
hard to even say that because I'm just doing, not being.
Yeah. Praise
I
Allah.
would like to say that, I know I said I don't find it difficult, right? And I don't find it difficult as a whole. In moments, I may find difficulty, but as a whole, I don't because I've already been down that road with low self-worth and low self-esteem and all those things. And I didn't get go to a 12-step program or join the temple to stay stuck. I joined these things to get better with life and at life so that
Mhm.
I can have self-worth and self-esteem. So in moments, I may feel like that, but as a whole, I don't find self-worth um difficult.
Mm,
Just a moment.
praise God.
Praise
Mhm.
God.
Praise Allah.
Okay, well, now go ahead, Sister Britt. You had a closing thought you were about to start?
Oh, closing remarks. A sister's self-worth is the totality of who she is. We are more than our bodies, our beauty. A truly empowered sister knows how to love herself and love another completely. Her heart has no limits. Peace.
Peace.
Ain't got nothing to say after that.
Like that.
Sister Grill, you have any closing thoughts, remarks?
It's been a beautiful show. As always, it's a pleasure to sit with you all, my sisters. Sister Hawkins Bay, we really miss you.
Yes.
Thank you to the viewers who are always present and joining us on these shows. We can't wait to see you again.
That's right. Yeah,
Have a
same,
beautiful summer.
same. Have a beautiful summer. Have a beautiful time. And I pray again that I want to really just be grateful for those that are even taking the time to spend an hour listening to what we got to say. That,
Yes.
that's a big thank you. So
Yes.
I pray
Absolutely.
Allah keeps us all safe. And I pray Allah keeps us all safe. And of course, you all know on Fridays and Sundays here, you can hear Friday our 7:30 p.m. our holy day meetings, Sunday our Sunday school 2 p.m. But if you keep following the Facebook, you'll get notifications when there are different new shows, and you might just see a pop-up or a blast from the past that you might just see. So keep the notifications set, and thank you all.
Yes. Thank you, viewers. Moors.
Thank you.
That's right.
Peace.
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 Girl talk, real talk,
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris
Morris
Talk.
talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk, real talk. Allah want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're Morris talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls
Please
are
tune
talking
in
Morris
to
talk,
Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris Talk in 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.